Hi, and welcome to the Parallax Corporate Timeline After Effects template customization video. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to customize the template with your videos or your photos, show you how to change the text, and introduce you to the controls panel for each scene. I'll also show you how to replace your logo as well. So let's get started. What we have open right now is our render comp. As you can see in our timeline, we have all of our scenes laid out. We have our intro scene, we have 10 scenes, and then our closing scene. We also have two layers that are black solids that will fade in and fade out at the beginning and end of the timeline. Let's take a look in the project panel. As usual, the template is organized into folders. The elements folder contains solids and any source files and pre-comps. The render comp folder has a render comp. The replace images here folder contains all of the placeholder compositions where you can drag and drop your videos or photos. The replace logo here folder has replace logo, composition, and the scenes folder has all of our scenes laid out. Let's get started with the intro scene. You can either double click on the layer in the render comp to open up that composition, or you can go to the scenes folder, twirl that down, and double click to open the intro scene composition. You'll notice right away that there don't seem to be very many layers. We have hidden lots of layers here, and if you click on the shy switch in the timeline, you can reveal all of those layers. You shouldn't need to do that, but I just wanted to show you where those layers are in case you wanted to make some adjustments. So we'll go ahead and hide those layers and clean this timeline up a little bit. The first layer is called Master Controls, and this is where you can control the point and text position, the text matte position. As you can see, our text comes up and they are revealed inside of a matte. So if we adjust this matte position, you'll see that we're starting to hide that text. So you can adjust this position if you need to. You can also adjust the position of the text as well. You can change the text color, and you can change the markings on the timeline, the color of the markings on the timeline. And to change the text, if you double click, you can either double click inside the comp viewer, and you'll see the text layer is highlighted. That means you can start typing your text. There we go. If you wanted to make that a little bit bigger, you would go to the character panel. You can scrub on these letters and make that text big. There we go. And as you can see, our text is getting cut off at the bottom here. So if we go back to our master controls and change the matte height and then move its position down, you'll see that it's revealed now. There we go. So this intro scene has the logo in the beginning and it has an image. So let's go ahead and replace the logo. You can either double click to open the replace logo here, composition right here in the timeline. We have a placeholder text. If you just want text, you can just start typing. Double click and start typing there. We can turn this off for now. And let's go ahead and import the logo. We can go to File, Import, File. Select your logo and hit open. We do want this as footage, and then drag this file into the timeline. There we go. Let's go back to the intro scene, and we can see the logo has been updated. It also has a shadow, drop shadow on it. If you need to turn that off, you can go to the effects controls panel and click on this FX button here, and that will turn off the effect. And if you like it, you can go ahead and keep that on. Now let's replace the image in the background. Go back to the project panel, go to the replace images here folder, twirl that down, double click to open the replace image here intro. Now in all of these placeholder compositions, there's a color correction adjustment layer. Now you can change the tint in the effects controls panel by using the color picker. and you can change the brightness or in the contrast. I turn the brightness down so that way the background is a little darker and the timeline, which is white, stands out and there's some contrast there. So let's go ahead and import an image to go in here. And another way to import files is to go to your project panel and then just double click anywhere inside of an empty space. Just click twice and your import file window will appear. Select your image and click open. Select the file from the project panel and drag it into this placeholder composition. If you need to adjust the size of your image, you can hit S on your keyboard and adjust the scale property. Let's go back to the intro. And there you go. You can also change, like I said, that purple color. If you go back to the color correction layer, in the replace image here, timeline, let's see, we're tinting this color. It could be any color you like or not a color. It can be gray. Click OK. You can even turn that off, turn that effect off, and the brightness contrast off as well if you don't want those on. Let's go back to the intro scene and you'll see that the timeline still stands out because the background is a bit darker in this photo. So go back to the master controls layer if you just select it and go to the effects controls panel. You can also change the logo size. There's a slider control here. You can make that logo bigger if you need to or smaller. And you can also change the point and text group size with this slider at the bottom. You can make that bigger or smaller. And you can do that in all of the scenes. They're pretty much set up exactly like this. If we go to scene 1, you'll see we have our mat and our text popping up. And there's also a year number. And you just double click to change that. So let's go back to the render comp and go to the closing logo scene. Double click to open that composition. And this scene is fairly simple. It just has our logo, which has already been imported, and we have a text layer, which again, you just double click and start typing your text. The background image does have a tint applied to it. If you double click on this layer, replace closing logo background image, here's the color correction, and this is applied for the entire image. And again, you can turn off those effects, or you can just turn off the color control layer. Either way, there's also a layer that says delete this placeholder. You can actually go to the project panel, go to the elements folder, and select the delete this placeholder, and you can actually just delete that. And it'll be gone from the entire project. So we'll just go over one more thing. If you'd like to add another scene to this animation, you can go to the scenes folder. You can select any of these scenes. We'll start with scene 1 and then go to edit, duplicate, and it will immediately create scene 11. Now when After Effects duplicates a composition, it only duplicates that composition. The contents inside of it are not duplicated. So if you double click to open this duplicated comp, and let's click on the shy button to reveal layers, you'll see that the replace image here 01 placeholder comp is here. And that is actually the replace image here 01 that goes in scene 1. After Effects isn't going to duplicate nested compositions. It's just how it works. So if we go back to the replace images here folder, twirl that down, and pretty much you can select any of these placeholder comps and do Control D to duplicate. So we have our new placeholder composition. Now let's go to scene 11, and we're going to hold down the Command key while selecting all of the replace image here 01 layers. There we go. Let's go back to the project panel and hold the Alt or Option key. Just press it and hold it while dragging your new replace image here composition into this timeline. And you'll see our cursor is turned to like a little plus sign, and then let go. And now all of the replace image here 01 placeholder compositions are replaced with the brand new one for scene 11. You'll need to go back to the render comp, grab your scene, and drag it into the timeline. And then this is where your creativity will come in, and you'll get to put this new scene wherever you like. You can put it right at the end. You'll need to preview the project to make sure that that scene isn't coming in too fast or too slow. So that's pretty much it for this video. You can check out our website for more tutorials on how to render a QuickTime movie when you're done. If you already know how to do that, then you don't have to worry about that. If you have any questions at all, please email me, marissa@fluxvfx.com. I'm more than happy to answer any of your questions. Thanks a lot.